Hi, I'm Dr. Neil Payne.
And I'm Kirk Lyons, and this is All Things Confederate.
Kirk, where were you last week?
Well, last week we had mediation and depositions in the Baz Childress case.
Okay.
And Baz Childress, as many of you may know, was Lieutenant Commander of Kentucky Division, Sons of Confederate Veterans. And in 2008, he was attending the National Reunion, which was in Concord, North Carolina. He went to the Wingate Hotel there in Concord and rented a room to be used as a hospitality suite.
Now, was that the host hotel for the convention?
Well, they had it at the Cabarrus County Convention Center, and they offered preferred rates for all the hotels that would participate. Mm-hmm. So it was one of the hotels where members were staying. Right. And he engaged a hospitality suite for the very famous Kentucky Division Hospitality Night. Mm-hmm. And Kentucky Division has been entertaining the Sons of Confederate Veterans in the convention since 1997. Yeah. Pretty much, it's a tradition.
They have Southern hospitality.
That's right. It usually follows the oratory contest, which is always a lot of fun, and then people, several hundred, will come through the Kentucky suite during the course of the evening. It's named for John Hunt Morgan, mm-hmm. and libation flows freely, and usually there's music, and it's kind of unusual this year, or the year that Baz did it in 2008, because usually the Kentucky Division just rents a small room and then just packs it with people. In 2008, Baz went to the trouble to get a whole suite, so we're going to have a little more elbow room in there, and a lot of business goes on in this meeting. It's an election year, and so a lot of people come to electioneer. Lobby for this or that at the SCV. So
what was the problem?
Well, Baz hung a Confederate flag in his hotel room window.
At an SCV convention?
Convention.
Wow.
And the hotel, of course, knew that it was the Sons of Confederate Veterans. If they had eyes in their head, they could see all the flags on the cars and mm-hmm. the bumper stickers mm-hmm. and the flags adorning the people. Mm-hmm. And so these are people about the Confederate flag. Well, Baz got a call at about 5 o'clock, and it was the assistant manager, and he said, you need to take the flag down. He said, why? And mm-hmm. they said, because of sensitivity issues. Sensitivity issues. Yeah. So
not sensitivity to people who like Confederate things, right?
Okay. He asked
not those kinds of
He asked if there had been complaints, and they said that there had been complaints. Wouldn't go into any detail. So he said he would think about it. Mm-hmm. Well, apparently a little while later, the general manager calls back. The general manager, now not the assistant general manager, calls mm-hmm. back and says, you've got to take the flag down. Mm-hmm. And, Baz asked him if there was any policies regarding this and why he wasn't told about this before. And apparently the conversation got nowhere. So next, the owner comes up there, storming up there, and
now just back up for a minute. Who is Baz Childress? I mean, what does he do for a living?
Baz Childress is a bank vice president. At the time, was a bank vice president, and he was lieutenant commander of Kentucky Division. So he's a professional person. He's mm-hmm. not, just some down and out.
So he's an official of the SCV and a bank president,
right? And he's now commander of the division. Mm-hmm. The owner comes storming up and basically refuses to shake Baz's hand mm-hmm. and demands that the flag come out of the window or he's going to jail.
Oh, really?
So things kind of went downhill from there. And as it turned out, by the end of the evening, the police, framing the owner asked Baz to take down the flag. No, then you need to leave. No, you're going to jail. So they escorted him out of the room, and they did not handcuff him. Mm-hmm. Took him down to a police substation and booked him, and then turned him loose.
Now, when did you find out about all
I was there.
Oh, you were.
I was there. Oh, we were the Virginia Division and the North Carolina Division were having a caucus, and in that hotel. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting. The owner claims that there was a sign with a flag on it in the lobby. Mm-hmm. Funny. All those people coming to the caucus don't remember seeing a flag in the lobby. Mm-hmm. There was a sign put up there by Virginia Division telling people where to get to the caucus. But Anyway, we were right there. So there was about 100 people in the hotel, and most of them decamped from the caucus and went up to the room when it was told that the police were on their way. And so I was there with Baz, witnessed the whole thing, and actually followed him to the substation. And Michael Gibbons drove us. And
can't beat that for representation.
So anyway, Baz was charged with criminal trespass. And it was taken that we got an attorney for him by the name of Chris McCartan, who was also the chairman of the GOP, the Cabarrus County GOP, and a northerner, but gets it, understood the issues, happy to represent Baz. There was 2 hearings. The first hearing, the owner didn't show up, nor did he even call the DA. The second hearing, which Baz traveled from Kentucky to Cabarrus County to Concord. Again, the owner didn't show up, hadn't called, didn't do anything. The DA wanted another continuance, and Chris said, look, this is ridiculous. I want it dismissed. So the court dismissed it, and shortly thereafter, we filed a civil suit for malicious prosecution and for breach of contract. As often happens in cases like this, we got hometowned. The judge basically favors the homeboy, and he dismissed the case, dismissed the malicious prosecution, which is the biggest claim that we had, the largest claim. And we had to take it to the North Carolina Court of Appeals. Tim Wyatt, the South Carolina Division Judge Advocate, handled that case for us at the appeals level.
An excellent man.
Did an excellent job. And the court sided with us on almost all points. And so now it's coming back to trial. So in trial, you have what's called court mandated mediation. And so we had a retired judge, and last week we're set for trial March the 12th. So we have to have mediation before we go to trial. So this is an attempt to try to settle the case, and we approached this in good faith, and we were hoping the other side would too. We had a retired judge. We met in the courthouse, and he kind of does shuttle diplomacy between the parties. They make an opening statement, and then he kind of goes between to see if we can settle it. And I'm not really allowed to go into the settlement details, but it was very, very clear that the defendants were not interested in any kind of good faith settlement. So, which is fine. We wanted to take this to trial. We had to do this. This is something the court mandates.
So basically just wasting your and the court's time.
It was a waste of time. It should never have even happened. So now the next day we took depositions. Baz did a very good job in his deposition. It was a 3-hour deposition. Joe Griffin, the owner, we took his deposition, and several interesting things came out. His whole defense is, I am a hotel owner. I have the right to decide who stays and who goes. It is completely up to me. If you are a room renter, if you rent a room for that night, he can come and throw you in the hoosgow if he wants. That's his right.
Really?
That's his position.
And what does the law have to say about that?
Well, the law has a thing called quiet enjoyment. Baz Childress has the right to quiet enjoyment to his room, and as long as he's not interfering with another guest or causing a commotion, he has a right to that room. Now, ultimately, does the hotel owner, can he eject somebody from the hotel for no reason at all? Well, that's a good question. From a criminal perspective, probably so. It's his property. But he has to face the music when the inevitable malicious prosecution claim and breach of contract claim comes. So he can't get out of it. He had his chance to make his case in the criminal case, and he blew it because he didn't want to show up. He was too unconcerned, had so little concern for what had happened to Baz, and that Baz was driving, and spending $1,000 to come to court for this day. It was so of little concern to him that he just blew it off. And that was his chance to show that it was criminal trespass. If he had been able to show that criminal trespass would lie, we wouldn't have a civil case. We wouldn't have one. So that's his problem. So we're going to trial March 12th. People need to be aware of this, especially SCV members. This could set some very interesting precedents. around the country as we go and rent rooms and want to put flags in our rooms. And the best way you can help is to become a member of the Southern Legal Resource Center.
Well, thank you, Kurt.